Today I'm going to teach you about probability, and I'm going to do this by showing you how to find the probability of rolling a Yahtzee in the game Yahtzee. I'm only going to show you up to 2 rolls because for time constraints, but I'd also be good exercise for you to figure out, using the pattern I've laid out, what the probability is on rolling a Yahtzee on 3 rolls. So to start off, let's talk about probability. Probability is the measure of the likelihood that an event will occur. To find this, you use the formula number of favorable outcomes over total number of possible outcomes. So for example, if I want to find the probability of rolling a 2, I would have 1 favorable outcome, which is rolling a 2, and 6 total possible outcomes because it's a 6-sided dice. So the probability of rolling a 2 on a die is 1 divided by 6, or a 16.7% chance of rolling a 2 on one dice, or any number. Another piece of information you need to know is what a combination is. A combination is a selection from a collection of numbers that can be, the order doesn't matter, they can be in any order. So here's the formula. N equals the number of objects you have, which in this case is 5 dice, and R is how many objects you take at a time. So if I had a pair, I chose that pair, I took 2 of the 5 dice, so that's R. For those of you who don't know Yahtzee, a Yahtzee is when you roll 5 of the same number, and you have 1, 2, 3, or 3 rolls to do this. So start off, let's say you roll a Yahtzee on the first roll. You have 6 possible ways to get a Yahtzee. It could be 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s, or 6s that you roll for Yahtzee, times 1 6 times 1 6 times 1 6 times 1 6 times 1 6. So you have 5 1/6, which is the probability of rolling that number, which I showed you before, which gives you 6 over 7,776, or a 0.077% chance of rolling a Yahtzee on the first roll, which are very low odds. So what if you have 2 rolls, and you roll a 4 of a kind on the first roll, and on the second roll you get your Yahtzee? So in the first roll, you again have 6 possible numbers, 1 to 6 on the dice, times 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6. Those are your 4 of a kind. You have 1 in 6 chance of getting that specific number. You multiply it by 5/6, which is the probability of not getting the same number you had in 4 of a kind, which gives you 5 over 1,296, or a 0.39% chance. But, like I said before, the order does not matter. So that is only if the order is 4 of a kind first, then your other dice. So we have to bring combinations in. So for combination for this, you have 5 dice, and you choose 4. You choose your 4 of a kind. So that gives you 5 factorial, or 4 factorial, times 5 minus 4 factorial, or 120 over 24. But you have to multiply it by the probability of rolling a 4 of a kind, which is 5 times 5 over 1,296, or a 1.93% chance of rolling a 4 of a kind. But what about the second roll? So in the second roll, it's your chance of getting the same number you have for your 4 of a kind. So you're going to take your probability of getting a 4 of a kind in any order. You're going to multiply it by your 1/6 chance of getting that one number with your 1 dice, which gives you 25 over 7,776, or a 0.32% chance of rolling a Yahtzee in 2 rolls with a 4 of a kind on the first roll. So odds still are not that great. What if you roll a 3 of a kind on the first roll, and on your second roll you get a Yahtzee? So for your first roll, again, you have 6 different possible numbers for the 3 of a kind. You're going to times it by 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6, which is your 3 of a kind. You have 1/6 chance of getting each of the same number, times 5/6 times 5/6. So those are your 2 other numbers that are not the numbers in a 3 of a kind. That gives you 25 over 1,296, or 1.93%. But again, the order does not matter. So this time, we have 5 possible dice, and we choose 3 dice, or 3 of a kind from that. So you get 5 factorial over 3 factorial times 5 minus 3 factorial, which gives you 10. But again, you have to multiply it by the probability of getting a 3 of a kind in the order I mentioned before. You get 3 first and then your other 2, which gives you 250 over 1,296, or a 19.3% chance of rolling a 3 of a kind. So if you want to get a 3 of a kind in Yahtzee, there's a pretty good chance you'll get one. But you have a second roll again. So the second roll, this is finding your chance of getting the last 2 numbers you need. So again, you're going to take your probability of 3 of a kind. You're going to times it by 1/6 times 1/6, your last 2 dice, the chances of getting the same number as your 3 of a kind, which gives you 250 over 46,656, or a 0.54% chance of rolling a Yahtzee on the second roll, with the first roll being a 3 of a kind. So your odds are getting better. Lastly, we're going to figure out if you roll a 2 of a kind in the first roll and get a Yahtzee on the second roll. So your first roll will be, again, 6 possible numbers times 1/6 times 1/6, that is your pair you're going to get, times 5/6 times 5/6 times 5/6. So those numbers are not the same as your first pair. Even if you get 2 pairs in one roll, you're still only going to choose one of the pairs to start with on your second roll, so it does not matter. That gives you a 9.65% chance of rolling a pair, but again, the order does not matter. So you have to do a combination. So you have 5 dice, you choose 2, which is your pair, which gives you that equation, and it's 120 over 12, which gives you 10. But again, you have to multiply it by rolling a 2 of a kind, or a pair, and you get 96.45% chance of rolling a pair on your first roll. But you have to do your second roll, so you're going to multiply, you're going to take your probability of rolling a pair, you're going to multiply it by 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6, the last 3 dice you need that are going to match your pair. You get 1,250 over 279,936, and you get a 0.45% chance of rolling a Yahtzee if you roll a pair on the first roll. So on 2 rolls, your best chance is rolling a 3 of a kind on the first roll, which is a 0.54% chance. So I will let you figure out what it takes for 3 rolls, and have a good day.